Hi, I'm Stephen Asser and welcome to this exclusive video, how to set up and promote a webinar in less than 60 minutes. Now we're going to break this into three main parts. The first part is what are you going to cover in your webinar? That means what is the content that you will deliver to your audience? Two, GoToWebinar setup. So we're going to show you how to set up a webinar using GoToWebinar. Even better, take advantage of their 30-day free trial and even make money before the end using this system that I'm going to share with you. And the third step is promoting the webinar. And that's when I'll bring in one of my #1 team members to help you to promote on Facebook, email marketing, Twitter, YouTube, and many other various forms of marketing and promoting your webinar. So let's get started. Right now, let's look at what we will cover. Okay, now what are you going to cover on your webinar? I see so many webinars out there where people are delivering absolute garbage content that could be really taking advantage of webinars and using them to educate, inform, and sell huge products as well at the same time. So really you have two choices for what you're going to cover on a webinar. And the first one is you can promote your existing product or some knowledge that you have already or a service that you might have as well. So there's either promoting your knowledge, your product, or your service. Okay. Now if you don't have a product, we're going to show you how you can create one when we get to that. And the second thing is promoting someone else's. Okay, so promoting someone else's product is very powerful as well. In fact, a lot of our income has come from promoting other people's products. Now I'm going to show you how to do both of these, and ultimately you will use both of these in your webinar marketing business, but let's get started with just the first one for now. Okay, so promoting your own product or service. Okay, now what you need to do if you're going to promote your own product or service, then you really need to think about what is the education we can provide. See, the old way that people sold was they talked about their product or their service. Nowadays, what you want to aim to do, especially with webinars, is educate, inform, and then sell. Okay, because people love to buy. If you can show them that present the problem in a presentation on a webinar, and then you can turn around and show them that your product or your service is a potential solution to that problem, then you've got much more chance of them buying. So when you're looking to cover content on a webinar, I always try and put it into a step-by-step format, so that I can basically have the client walking away feeling good, knowing that they've got the information, and if they buy the product they can see that I know and I've put time and I understand what they're going through. So if they purchase, they're happy to purchase from me, because people like to buy but they don't like to be sold to, and that's the principle of what we cover here. Okay, so you've got a product, you've got an idea. What you need to do, as I said, is to put it now into a step-by-step format. So let's say, for example, you're selling a real estate investing course. Okay, a lot of people have the tendency to just immediately start talking on the webinar about their course from the start. And I want to tell you that's a big mistake. Let's just say you are looking at, you're selling real estate investing for beginners. Okay, that's your program. You have a program that teaches people how to do that, or you have some software that does that. And let's just say you want to do a webinar. What I would do in that situation is I would put down a headline like, how first home buyers can buy their property in 5 easy steps. And then what I would do is I would talk about houses at the start. I would build some rapport, share some statistics, talk about property and why it's a good thing, and then I would get into the 5 steps. And those 5 steps, you can just create them. You can have 3 steps, you can have 4 steps, 5, 6, 7 steps, whatever you want. But basically what I would do is create a step-by-step method that they can apply themselves. So once again, this is teaching your customer that that you know what you're talking about, and educating them, and then that's going to teach them to purchase your product at the end. Let me illustrate the point. 5 steps for buying your first property. Okay, the first step you tell people is, okay, you need to do research. You need to know where you want to buy the property. So you need to look at the area, and in that point you would basically just cover a little bit more information for, a couple of minutes on each point. So you would say, researching in this area, you got to go to this real estate agent, you got to go to this website, you can read this book, and you give away some tools and some tips and some resources that they can use, and they're really, really happy with that because they can take notes, and now you're teaching them. The next thing that you would do for that person is, for that person looking to buy property, is you say, okay, you need to know and get all your financial house in order. So how do you get your financial house in order? You've got to talk to your banker or a broker, and then you've got to do this, and you can read this book to learn how to budget. And if you're having troubles with saving, then there's this book over here, and I heard this saying about blah blah blah. And you can also share testimonials of clients that you have as well in the past. You say, this is Bob and Jan, and they didn't even have a deposit when I first met them and they joined my program. But what we did was we sat down with them and we did what I'm telling you to do right now, which is, doing a budget. So do your budget, and this is how you do a budget. Step number 3. So you go through each step and you give away some content, some resources, some information, and then at the end you wrap those up and you transition into the part where you're going to close. Now, normally the introduction should be around about 5 minutes. The middle section should be a good chunk of the presentation, and then the ending should be around about 5 to 10 minutes as well. And that's where you really talk about your product. So you basically would transition by saying something like, have you enjoyed this presentation? If you have, is it okay if I share this method of getting your first property faster and easier? And then you would present your training program, and you'd say, like, this is our training program. Now, give your training program a name. Even have a banner created for it. That can add huge value to something. Don't just call it a 5-week course or a one-to-one meeting. That sounds very boring. People like to buy products, so give it a name. Call it the Wealth Starter Pack, you know what I mean, or the Real Estate Wealth Starter Kit, or whatever it is. Come up with a name and get somebody to design a logo for you on it as well. You can get a logo for like $100 or $200 online at elance.com, and basically, yeah, that's what I would do. So that's pretty much how you would cover your content. Now, if you had some software that you were selling, then perhaps you would just do a webinar showing off the software. Okay, now software is great. You don't really need to deliver huge content when you're showing off your software, because it's a push-button solution, and everyone wants a magic pill. See, people don't want to exercise and lose weight. They would rather take a pill and then, think that's going to help them to lose weight. So they'll buy pills all day long, but they won't actually do what they need to do. So when you've got software, you have the magic button, the magic pill, and that really should demonstrate to them in your presentation all of the features, the benefits of your product. And it's not a pushy sell. That's what I call a show and tell webinar, where you're showing them and telling them what they can do with your software. For example, if you were like developed a software for accounting like MYOB, then you would say, okay, let me show you how MYOB can work in your business. You put this here, you put that there, you put that there, and blah, blah, blah. So that's basically what you would do in that situation of having software. If you had a service, you would just do what I just said with the real estate example. You would deliver all of the information about, that industry or that market, and then at the end, you would offer them your product or service, whatever that is. So that really covers, promoting your product, your knowledge, or your actual service. All right, now let's move on to number 2, is promoting someone else's product. Okay, so if you don't have a product, what do? Well, the easiest thing to do is to promote someone else's product. And as I said at the outset, you are ultimately going to be promoting someone else's product as well as doing your own once you get a hold of webinars, because webinars produce higher conversions, and it allows you to leverage and do so many projects at once. It's not funny. So let's get into promoting someone else's product if you don't have one yourself or you're not sure how to create one. The first place that you can go is a website called clickbank.com. One word, clickbank.com. And clickbank.com is great because it's a website, like a brokerage of all of these different ebooks and videos and digital products that you can essentially grab any of those and start promoting them for an affiliate fee, which is basically a commission of the sale. And ClickBank gives you 50 to 75% depending on the product of commission from a product. So let's say on a webinar you can simply go to ClickBank, talk a little bit about a topic, and then grab one of the products and send people to that site at the end to purchase, and ClickBank will track it through your link. So that's a really good way to do it. If you still don't want to talk on a webinar and you're a little bit apprehensive about doing it that way, what you could do is actually write to the owner of the product on ClickBank and have them come on the webinar, talk about the product, and then sell at the end with your affiliate link from ClickBank. So that's another great way to do it. The other thing that you can do is, if you don't want to go online, is do you know anyone that knows something about a particular topic? Maybe you know someone in real estate. Maybe you know someone who does accounting. Maybe you know someone who knows how to write business plans. Maybe you know someone that knows how to do internet marketing and do Facebook or something. So basically what you can do is try and find someone. If you're looking to promote someone else's product, try and find someone with these three things. A list, meaning a database of names that they can automatically email the webinar invitation to get people there. So you look for someone with a list. The second thing you want to try to do is look for someone with a product. Okay, if someone's got a product, then that's really, really easy. You set up the webinar for them, which we'll show you how to do in step 2, and then you basically promote the webinar, which we'll show you how to do, and they can promote it to their database as well, their list, and then they can sell a product at the end, and you can split the commission. So that's the second thing that they should have, is a list. So a product, sorry. So a list and a product. And the third thing that you want them to have is a website. So if they've got a website already, then that's fantastic, because essentially what we can do is set up a special page where we can actually send people to at the end of the webinar. If they don't have a website, the website is the least important of those three things. If they don't have a website, that's okay, because you can always get customers at the end of a webinar to email you to an email address, and you can send them a PayPal link to pay or whatever. So really, a list would be optimal. A product is the next best thing as well, and if they've got a website, fantastic. If they don't, that's okay. So if you've got someone with those 2 or 3 things, then what you do is approach them and say, hey, have you ever heard of webinars? And 9 times out of 10, people say no, they haven't heard of webinars, depending what industry they're in. Say, well, listen, I've taken a webinar course with Stephen Esser, who basically teaches people how to do webinars and make anything from $10,000 to $200,000, and I want to set up a webinar for you. It allows you to basically present online and sell more of your products. And here's the question you ask them: can I help you sell more products? Very powerful question. If you ask them that, then they're going to be intrigued and say, yeah, how can you help me sell more products? And then you basically say, well, I'll set it all up for you. We'll basically do it on a webinar, okay? And you'll take control, and we're going to show you in the next steps how to set it up and promote it. But that's basically what you want to do, and you want to negotiate an actual commission with them as well. So how much would you pay me, Bob or John, if I helped you to set up and sell products via a webinar? What commission would you pay me? And most of the time in our industry, internet marketing, real estate and all, that's 50%. But you can negotiate whatever you're happy with. The best thing is to get started. Even if they ask you, 10% or 20% is all they offer, you need to do that, because that's going to give you experience and knowledge. So make sure you just get started, and as you progress along, you'll get much better at doing that. So the steps that you put the actual joint venture presentation is the same as what I said before. If you're promoting your own product, make sure that they put it into step by step. They don't just get on there and sell. They actually do step by step teaching, and then they can essentially sell their product at the end. Okay, so there's really the 2 options that you've got for, either promoting your product or knowledge or service viral webinar. And if you don't want to do that, then you can find someone else's and promote them. They're really the two methods that we primarily use to get someone started in webinars. And as I said, in our Webinar Magic program, we've helped hundreds of clients make tens of thousands of dollars using these systems. In fact, if you want more information about that, then just pop us a line and we can give you further coaching on this if you want it.